My notes? Yeah, my notes, yeah. Yes. Okay, sorry. मुझे पता ही नहीं नोट्स पता नहीं कहाँ गए. ये नोट्स नहीं है. अच्छा, हाँ, इसके साथ में पढ़ा था मेरे नोट्स. Yeah, okay. Yes, starting. Yes. Hello, friends. We're starting with the next session in 1 minute. Please bring your cups of tea and take a seat again. As we all know, the turmoil in Punjab in the 1980s and 90s ranks among the most catastrophic events that have shaped independent India's history. It has had a lasting impact on national and state politics and on people's lives. What really happened in those troubled years has been the subject of many books, and now we have an inside account by somebody who had a ringside view as a young IAS officer. In our next session, author Rameshender Singh discusses his new book with veteran journalist Kanwar Sandhu and actor and politician Gul Panag. Over to you, Gul.
Can we have 2 more mics, please? I suppose so. I think that, whatever is your... Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. While I wait for my 2 illustrious guests to settle down, I think I can't tell you all how intrigued I was when Nilofer reached out to me to be in discussion with Mr. Singh on his book. A book I knew was in the making when my father read it at the manuscript stage, and remarked back then that it's the most incisive account, factually, of the period that all of us sitting in this arena right now have witnessed from some perspective or the other. I myself was a little girl between living in Punjab with my grandparents at Fatehgarh Sahib from 84 all the way till 86, and then in Chandigarh. So a lot of what you write here is witnessed by the precocious little child that I was. And I have had a range of mixed emotions reading this large volume, but it's been an eye-opener. And to be able to do this discussion with Mr. Sandhu, somebody I've looked up to for many, many years before we became formally acquainted and then also formally associated. It is indeed an honor to be on this stage with both of you. Thank you again. And thank you, Nilofer, for giving me this opportunity. It is a very sensitive subject, and people have very extreme views on the turmoil in Punjab. And as the subject of the book so carefully worded and titled Before and After Blue Star. So Punjab was already in turmoil by the time Blue Star happened and continued down a very, very slippery slope. So diving straight into it, you know, you had just taken over charge in Amritsar, and 24 hours into your charge, you had, and I'm going to read this excerpt for a second. Here I was, not even 24 hours into my new job, dealing with 2 lieutenant generals camping in Amritsar, General Sundarji and General Dayal, and 3 major generals, K.S. Brar in the Golden Temple, J.S. Jamwal in the subdivisions of Amritsar, Ajnala and Baba Bakala, and Shamsher Singh in Patti, and parts of Tarantaran, along with thousands of troops that had swarmed the district with no possibility of communication with my seniors or juniors or my police. I'm just adding that, ad-libbing. Punjab had turned olive green, the Fauji color, and the khaki stood eclipsed. So this sets the stage for where I would really like to take this conversation. My father, in a blurb for this book, says that you have spared no one accountability, including yourself. Would you like to briefly delve into that?
Thank you very much, Gulpanag. And I'm very glad that Mr. Kanwar Sandhu is here, because I have quoted him also in the book. He was, for a while, posted, I mean, not posted, used to visit frequently Amritsar, and I met him for the first time in Amritsar, and he has done very pioneering work on Blue Star. My book is not just on Blue Star, I'd like to clarify. Though there is probably no other book which describes the Operation Blue Star virtually on a half-hourly basis, how the entire battle, if I may use the word battle, developed and ended. Yes, there were mistakes, or rather blunders, I would say, at all stages of the entire turmoil in Punjab. The first was, of course, the Blue Star operation itself. And I have said so, that it was ill-planned and very badly executed, which resulted in avoidable death and destruction. So far as your question is concerned specifically, what were the mistakes committed? And starting with myself, I would say that having joined on 4th morning, June 84, I learned about the armies is going to intervene in Golden Temple on the afternoon of 5th June. We were sitting in Kotwali complex in Amritsar, which is a town hall area where now you have the partition museum also, in the office of SPCID, because to add to what Gul has read from the book, you see, all telephone lines were cut. Army had taken over the exchange. The entire state was brought under curfew. There was no movement of any type. Consequently, even the deputy commissioner or the SSP of the district could not talk to each other. The only line provided to me was a line from the telephone exchange of Army. And when I brought it to them that I tried to reach my chief secretary, I tried to reach my home secretary, well, they said, please bear with it, it's just a day or two's problem. But if there's something very urgent, you can ring up the Army exchange and we'll try and route your call to them. The first blunder, when I say blunder, was that after it had been agreed in a conference with the Army on 3rd and then on 4th, which my predecessor, Sir Gurdev Singh, attended on 3rd. I joined him because I was going to succeed him. It was agreed that the civilian population from around the Golden Temple will be evacuated. They asked us to arrange buses. We organized those. This was essential because long-range weapons had been brought in, like tanks, artillery weapons. So we feared, that if these weapons are used, there is going to be, because these are area weapons, as we understand. So on 5th, when we were told, I said, what happened to that? They said, it's too late, So we made an attempt at that time, because there was no telephone. I couldn't talk. I sent a wireless message to the chief secretary, to the home secretary, then talked on the police, this one-to-one, they have telephones, with Mr. Randhawa, who was then IG, CID Punjab. And he pulled strings and got back to me on duplex that yes, they'll give you some time, to make an effort. of course, they said there's no time because there was exchange of fire of evacuating the civilian population or the pilgrims which had come to Amritsar, because on 3rd curfew was imposed at 11 a.m. and that, as you know, was Guru Maharaj's Shahidi then. So a lot of pilgrims were caught inside the temple because of the curfew. So at that stage, you know, we said, okay, all right, you try and talk to these guys inside. They tried to restore the telephone lines of the Golden Temple, but they could not. They said these have not succeeded. Then Pandit Harjeet Singh, who was SPCID there, his family was converts to Sikhism, I would say, like all of us are at some stage of our ancestors. So he suggested that Dr. Baldev Singh, who was in charge of the hospital run by SGPC, he is the personal physician of both Sant Jarnail Singh Pindranwala, Sant Longowal and Toda. Let's try and get him and send him inside, you know.